We're
Hello.
live. I just sent it. So um,
Oh, excellent. Hello.
hang on, let me turn you up. I can't hear shit. All right. See something else?
Hello.
Okay. Um, yeah, Metro vs Mesa. I think both these teams are pretty quick to ready up in general. So kind of excited for slamming these drops in. Hopefully we get longer drops and less time in between. It's like Mantra's already locked. I'm gonna send you an invite, by the way, to get you in the lobby.
Okay.
I forgot to do that.
Are you streaming on yours? I suppose it'll kick in after the delay, huh?
Yeah, I'm actually on MW Leaks
Okay.
this time, as
Oh, you are. Okay.
was requested. I mean, I prefer to stream on my channel because it's easier to deal with complications, and I also don't need to be as careful about what I say. But it's nice to have for the community one spot where things are casted, and of course the VOD being archived is pretty nice. So
Seems pretty fair.
I gotta change the server. It looks like so. Yeah, both these teams right now a little bit behind as far as points in Div A. I think Mantra took one game off of Fidelis and two games, I believe, off BSC. So they
Yep.
have
Just about yanked the series in game 5 too. It was really close.
yeah. So they right now have 3 points. I don't think Mesa has won a drop. I could be wrong about that actually though. Who did they play? Do you know? I know last week they played Fidelis, right, and they didn't get a drop. But before that, they might have. Who did they play week
Let
one? Maybe
me double check the standings here.
they might have gotten a couple of drops actually. I can't remember who they played.
Mesa did not take a drop off of 5J. That 5J also 5-0'd them. I don't believe that's indicative of this roster strength though.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like they could have gotten a couple drops there. But I do think that um, Mantra taking that drop off of Fidelis and two drops almost a series off of DSC, which I think that DSC is probably the strongest team overall in the tournament. I think that speaks volumes to that like their shape. I think Mantra is definitely favored for me coming into this, but I think these teams are somewhat evenly matched. If Mesa like brings their A game, they can definitely go toe to toe and win against Mantra here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that unlike kind of what we saw from DSC against Mantra last week, MESA, their talent spread is a little more evenly distributed across their roster. They have strong pilots both on the light and the assault/trader side. So I don't think that confident play from lights will be very good for Mantra here, but I don't know that they'll have as many openings to kind of be super aggressive and exploit like a sort of experience gap between themselves and the enemy lights this time around. So
Yeah, I definitely think that I definitely think that the the Mesa like lights actually are probably stronger than their assaults, based on my experience with them, um, which is opposite of like DSC. So that'll be interesting. I think
perhaps.
both teams, in my opinion, are weighted more towards their lights. So that'll be some really interesting Wolfpack stuff, in my opinion. So both
I
teams are
would agree
locked.
with
I'm gonna
that.
send it.
Unsharing has performed fairly well though, so I wouldn't count Mesa's traders out.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Well, hopefully we're gonna go live here. I didn't wait for it to kick in. I suppose you could shadow play it just in case, so we can at least get it onto YouTube if the stream doesn't kick in for this first jump.
All right, people. I am going to
Sorry, that
put
is
it in idle for a minute.
me having
Like it on the
Twitch
server.
up. I'm trying to refresh this and see if it's gonna kick in.
MWO Leagues is live now.
It is, okay. Wasn't going for me. Alright, so what do we got? Mech-wise here. Oh, looks like we might have the loading thing. I'm just gonna fly over. I'm too impatient. Okay, so for Mantra,
Yeah, I'm still spinning here.
Phoenix Hawk 7S. I'm assuming that's gonna be like PPCs, maybe snubs, Shadowcat, Flea 17. Okay, no, they're coming in. They're coming in. God, it's bright over here. Let's see, Skull, Hatchet Man 7R, Vulcan 5M, another Phoenix Hawk 7S. Oh no, yeah.
And
so,
on the MESA side, we have a very aggressive deck here. You know, Mantra seems to have a little bit more skirmish. Mesa is just sending it Black Lanterns, Osiris's, and linebacker even.
I think Mesa.
They're looking to hold W and get in here.
Yeah, I think Mantra's dead. To be honest, with their deck.
It looks like relatively low DPS deck versus what Mesa's got here.
Their only hope.
They're not telegraphing the push, so they could get caught.
Yeah, the only hope I think that Mantra has is to pull back into an open area and go legs. If they could leg or 1 or 2 mechs coming in, then they have a chance, I think. But they need to scout this and not get caught and be in a great receive position. Moker's actually having trouble getting up with Stas RN, by the way. So, like, they're completely stalled right now.
And Dubix
they're
might be caught
disconnected.
here with these Lanners advancing on this side.
Yeah, Dubix is dead. Dubix is dead. This game's over already. Not very well thought out from Mantra, unfortunately. I'm not sure. Well, I mean, maybe they pull back. Okay, they got scared. They got scared. They could have killed Dubix, but they sorry, they they made a mistake. One Phoenix Hawk 7S with VR medium shooting them, and they decided to pull back off of that kill. So, maybe Mantra gonna have another chance here.
Hesitation from Mesa here.
Yeah. No, they didn't want to send it after that Shadowcat. I think that was a mistake. I think they absolutely catched out the laners. See, JBV getting a couple shots in. He needs to pull back right now, though, or he's going to get caught. He is pulling back. Okay, they're doing the right thing. The Skulls are going to try to retreat. I think Stas RN and, yeah, Moker getting shots, at least, on the legs. I hope they're going legs, because if not, they don't have any hope here. I'm just going to straight up say that. There's no way they burn through these torsos in time with their very low DPS drop deck. Alright, Grell pushing in first. They are going legs on him. They're spreading a little bit, but yeah, he's going kind of in by himself. They're very... Oh man, some of them are turning it around. Moker's actually making a play, getting them to turn around while Grell suicides in by himself. Stas dropped because Taitetsu jumped up after him. And Stas is going to get picked, but I think it might be okay because they're going to pick Grell on the other side and they're getting a bunch of legs. Yeah, they legged hat-trick. So this is actually looking really, really good for Mantra, considering... I'm assuming that Mokar is eventually going to die over here. Like, they're not going to let him go. So right now it's basically 2 for 2. Yeah, Mokar is going to die. I don't think he's going to get a leg off of these two. That'd be a miracle. Nope. So, yeah, basically 2 for 2 trade because hat-trick is like that, and there he goes. I think that honestly kind of favors Mantra, though, because, you know, they've stalled out the push. That gives them time to skirmish, and yeah, they're doing the right thing by pushing them to the center while they know some of Mesa's mechs were off. You know, they were off to killing Moker, so this is really good. And Mesa's actually hesitating. Look at they're like trying to skirmish with their DPS. Okay, Villain's gonna push again. This is what they need to do. They need to all send it. It's gonna go in. Dubik's gonna pull back again. We know Dubix's legs are kind of open up from before, so he's going to get picked pretty fast. Is that Skull in the back doing work? Where's the Skull? Okay, yep, it's right up in front here. Amino heads the 4 LPL. It's going to be the next target. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to make this work.
A little bit slow, a little hesitant with their commit here, but it looks like they might be able to clean this up.
Yeah, now that they're kind of disconnected. I think Acer got legged. What is still on that linebacker anyways? It's the one mech I haven't really clicked on. Oh, it's a full brawl linebacker. So the linebacker basically is dead. This isn't actually over yet. I don't know. Let me try to check the haul on these legs. So I'm trying to click on them. We see that Taitetsu's open leg. Yeah, he's like one shot in the legs running off. I actually think that Mantra can still win this. The Lanner's fresh. Other Osiris is both legs, so it's really down to Villain to clutch this game for his team. Things are not looking super good for... oh, yeah, and he's taking leg damage. He doesn't know what to do. I definitely don't think you want to send it on these 2 mechs. You're giving them the opportunity to win the game. You should have pulled back while you could. and played the caps in my opinion. But now it's actually in Mantra's team's favor because both these mechs are completely fresh, with fast ER medium laser skirmish. Hydro Cal going in by himself, and he's gonna die really fast if they just hit their shots because both his legs are open or in structure. They missed their burns and didn't punish that. He should have died there. 100% should have died there if they just shot better. See, they need to not let these mechs escape though. They definitely want to kill Acer. They definitely want to kill like Villain here. Oh, Villain actually made a great play going for the ambush there. The red needs to reconnect with Gwentler and they need to focus this laner. Actually, if the Osiris come in as well, they need to focus the Osiris first. I should say the Osiris and the other laner. The red getting focused. Gwentler is just like not getting good shots. Like, seen him whiff a bunch of his laser burns, and that might cost him the game. Because the red is just being focused right now, and the red's going to be the one that goes down first. Yeah, the red needs to just leave. I think Gwentler should stick around and go for these picks, though. Because, like, you need to at least get one leg off of these mechs, or they're just going to outcap you through numbers. Taitetsu's actually crawled all the way to the cap as well. Okay.
Yep, leg goes. Not a 5 cap here.
His leg goes. The red, with distance, he can still be useful here as long as he's not legged. He's still going to be able to get good damage in. And remember, okay, so Villain's leg, yep, Villain gets legged as well. So are they all legged? Unfearing legged. Yeah, they are all legged. So Mantra should, yeah, they're 5 cap though. I think it's too late. Like, you need to like kill those mechs and not let them get Epsi. They're leaving Epsi. You can't do that. You have to kill and get this cap. Like, it's not an option to leave it, in my opinion. You just don't have the time, even with these fast mechs. They're gonna be able to get Theta, but
even though you have them legged, they're still gonna be able to spread out enough to defend enough caps to keep it. So
yeah, you need to kill them anyways. Like, I mean, I hope Gwentler gets Theta and then goes back to Epsi. I mean, like, I guess I could go Kappa first, but I don't know. I think, like, what is Gwentler's health looking like? Yeah, he's only one open. Like, he needs to let the red go for Kappa next. Like, oh, they're decapping as well. Yeah, I mean, like, it's definitely over.
There's just not enough time. Mesa's got enough guards on enough caps to squeak this out now with a 200 ticket lead.
Yeah, I think that honestly, like, Mantra played the deck really well, but their deck just was not set up to receive a push. It's just very low SDPS. I think at the end, Gwentler and Red could have clutched it, but yeah,
it's possible. In my mind, the biggest problem was the positioning of the Orion in that final team fight when Mesa pushed north off of Theta.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like
Orion couldn't afford to be up front. It needed to be further in the back with people pop tarting behind it.
Yeah, I felt like they like knew though that they needed to push and get caps because like if they just let them get Theta instead of 3 cap, then like obviously they're gonna lose. Yeah, Gwendler's not even trying. I'm a little bit disappointed in this because they're all like one shot leg. If he just had the courage to dive in, like maybe he could have clutched this first team, right? Like all these mechs open one shot leg, and they have to know that. Like I really wish that he would have stuck around and fought over Epsi. I know it's hard, but like all you need is one full burn on any of these mechs and they're dead. Like in my opinion, probably should have stuck around and not let them get FC.
Yeah, once you're in that situation and they're taking cap lead back, you actually just have to obviously switch into kill mode and then take all the caps back. That's your only hope, since the 2 mechs from Mantra didn't have enough speed to pull that off, but unfortunately just didn't wind up going that way.
Yeah, you can see the Phoenix Hawks getting good damage. I think that like honestly, like Mesa did not play that super well. I think Mantra actually played it better considering their decks. I just think it's really with this type of deck, it's exceptionally hard to stop that sort of brawl push.
When it came to all the team fighting, I'd 100% agree. Mesa did a good job though after the Mantra mechs were picked off, sending Taitetsu around to start getting cap control. And
yeah, I mean that's fair. I think that was it unfearing. So one of the landers made a good play as well.
They spread the map enough that it would be difficult for Mantra to come back into the game, even if they managed to kill most of those mechs with only 2 remaining. So
yeah, I mean that's fair.
The most concerning things for me though were just like some positional mistakes from Mantra when the bulk of the team fighting happened, and then the just Mesa's hesitancy when they saw that they were a DPS deck against a team full of Pop-Tarts. It felt like they should have been much more willing to be aggressive and engaged.
No, I think that like letting the Shadowcat go, I think pulling back like 3 mechs to kill Moker, installing out your push and letting one of your landers die for free essentially, or at least like a 1-for-1 trade while they stall you. There was like a lot of bad decisions from Mesa straight up.
And maybe Mesa, with some of their other mechs clumped up and moving together. I don't think it's bad to move together, obviously, especially when you're running an aggressive deck like that. But maybe spread a couple people out early to give them little more scouting information. It's possible they didn't have the information that the other mechs on the Mantra side were sort of skirmishy when the Blinders failed to follow up on Dubix, who was fairly out of position.
I
But
don't know. I think you see a Shadowcat in with laser bomb and LMGs, and you know that it's not a full send on the other side, so you just go. Like it's one Phoenix Hawk with the air mediums shooting you on that corner. There's no way you stall there. You definitely get that pick. Um, easier to like for me to say that though. Obviously, I probably a little bit more
for the
knowledge than
bird's eye, it
these
can be
teams.
a little easy, a little. It's a little easier to make these calls from the bird's eye view, right? But
That's true. That's true.
I understand people having a little PTSD about that corner.
No, that's
Just
fair.
there
I
tends
think
to
a
be,
lot of quick play.
large
Yeah,
mechs sitting on the other side of it waiting to leg you. But it is a light drop, and people should keep that in mind when they're playing these early drops. That these are light tonnage drops, and you're probably not going to come around the corner into a Marauder 4L or anything like that.
I do think that like I was saying, the one lander made a good play to kind of gank Doret at the end. I think if that didn't happen, then like they could have like again, Modric probably would have clutched it if that play wasn't made
Yeah,
to force Doret to start running and
yeah,
not really be firing.
that was a great heads up play by Villain, 100%.
Was it Villain? Okay, yeah. Well played to him.
Yeah,
That was good. Good a little ambush there. I still think that was definitely winnable at the end there if they just like had better burns. Specifically, sorry, who was it? Was it Wellner? I think.
Villain could have been a little more aggressive at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they did like the positioning and stuff was all good. It's just but you just need to be able to hit, like hold your burns and get those legs at that point. And it's not super easy against those really fast moving mechs that are trying to cover their legs, but you have to do it. Time's ticking there. You see that they have the caps. Like running away is good and all, but you have to be getting the damage on those legs, or it's hopeless. And if they had legs one or two of those mechs, just 10 seconds earlier, then they kill together. They kill the mech on Epsi. Switch that immediately. Get Theta and Kappa, and then maybe they can pull it back. Have to remember the other two caps are very very much in the open, so definitely was potentially possible. I think, but cool game. Always like to see a brawl push get extended. It's definitely a bit boring whenever it ends like right away, one way or the other. It's much more interesting when something like what we just saw happens, where it actually ends up coming down to caps. Do you think that that MESA will push again? Oh, my co-caster seems to have disappeared, but that's okay.
Hard to say. The other side is a little nicer for control deck and skirmishy decks than the team 2 side. So I guess we'll see, because Mesa, as far as I know, primarily plays more skirmishy, control-y decks in general. So I would bet on them doing something pretty similar to what Mantra did last game.
Yeah,
They didn't use up any of those chassis.
Yeah,
They got
that's
a lot of
fair.
options.
They did. Yeah, they did burn their Osiris's and Lanners. I know the Osiris is kind of like a go-to pick nowadays for like brawl pushing. Is that so much DPS? You can still do it though. There's plenty of options for brawl pushing mechs, but yeah, Lanner's another one that's like so fast. It's also a pretty good drop that mech that fills in the tonnage.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope that that Mantra brings just a little more like SDPS, so that they don't get rolled over by a push if it does come out. But I mean, like then again, the more I think about it, like they clearly had a plan. Obviously, like they didn't time the scouting for Dubix on that corner. Because yeah, he should have just died. But they clearly had a plan to receive a push by going legs with the all like the hit scan lasers. So even though they didn't have a lot of sustained DPS, they still played it pretty good, and they had clearly had the idea. I think the Vulcan though was for me. Like I actually would have to go back and look at the damages, but I can't imagine that Vulcan of 2 LPLs like did anything. I think it was like the first to die as well. Like I think that mech was just a
Yeah,
mistake.
unfortunately, I don't see, unless you're playing like Alpine Peaks with like the extreme range Vulcan, I don't see Vulcans being very good on maps that want more of a mid-rangey pop tart game like this one does. If you're going to play that type of deck, I don't think nubs are very good on this map, and so I don't really see the Vulcan being a great pick, to be honest.
Like imagine instead of that Vulcan we had an
But,
Arctic Wolf, and when they came in, it just blew them up. Like later on, like it stalled because like I just don't think the 2 LPLs did anything. Uh, and they take so much time as well, and given that it
69
was like in the
damage.
front, yeah, like that's kind of expected for me. Like, it have to be way in the back, and then it would have decent sustained DPS, but like it's not really that fast
Like
if you're putting 2 LPLs
blocking.
on it. It's not exceptionally fast or anything. It's 12 tons of
It's
weapons
really not, yeah.
compared to like the 70 or
And it's
mediums
not
of
that
the Phoenix
much.
Hawk. 7 tons.
It's not really that much of a Pop Tart loadout, and it's also not that much sustain. So kind of an underwhelming build.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I think we've seen a number of those from Mantra in the past. They seem to have like really good cohesive like deck ideas, strats, and like good individual piloting and that sort of thing. But sometimes the theory crafting leaves a little bit to be desired on some of their mech choices.
yeah, that makes sense. I definitely think that if they had an SRM Arctic Wolf that just was holding back, they win that drop. Easy peasy.
Oh
Just
yeah,
comes in
hundred
and cleans
percent.
up at the end. Like,
Like if you have an S, if you have it waiting for the end, or if it's able to serve as a bodyguard for that Orion when Mesa swarmed it. I mean, it's killing probably 2 medium mechs right there, 2 mediums or lights.
yeah. Even if you wanted like something more skirmishy, like bring the 2 with like the heavy larges or the LPLs, and yeah, it'll only have a little bit less sustained
And the
DPS,
Cerns,
honestly.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, and yeah,
And
it'll be
it's
slower,
also, of
but
course, a fast mech that's good at taking caps later in the game if it comes down to one of the last mechs on your team too. So a lot
uh,
of utility there.
oh, I forgot to switch the server. I don't know why it's not letting me. I mean, did they remind me in chat? It's kind of my fault because they said so at the beginning, but they really should be looking at that, like when they lock and telling me. I don't think they did.
Command coming in. Capture and hold the resource points. Stop any hostiles that get in your way.
All right, we're not redropping. We're gonna do EU for the next 2 in a row. So sorry about that. That is my fault, but yeah, the teams really should say something in chat. Like they see it's on NA when they're both locking. So um, I'm not a ref. Keep in mind, I'm literally just casting this. Anyways, we got summoners. Interesting. What is on these summoners? 2-air large and
On
SRMs.
the summoners.
Quite
Yeah, kind of a
interesting.
bracket build on the summoners. And then we've got LXPLs and LMGs, sort of FaceTime DPS on the Blackjacks. Obviously, they don't have to commit to use that, but it does seem like a more aggressive deck from Mesa with the Saber and those sort of FaceTime builds and the SRMs on multiple mechs as well as the AP Gauss. They can be pretty aggressive with that.
Yeah.
And from the
So
Mantra side, looks like we have a couple of Panthers doing some mountain climbing here. This is
yeah,
interesting. I
they
wonder
have
what.
a control plan clearly. I like the ER medium light machine gun Vipers. I think that's another one. Like if you had this Viper into the Vulcan in the last game, oh my god, also would have been a very easy win. Very good sustained DPS on that when they're pushing in, and plenty of jump jets to get up high where it wanted to go as well, and then get out. Like it could stall out for a lot longer and live a lot longer. Smaller legs. Anyways,
Yeah,
though,
pretty
not
clearly
talking
a
about last
control
round.
deck. Pretty clearly a control deck on the Mantra side.
Where's this
A little
rifleman now?
more aggression
I'm not
and
seeing it.
ability to do. The rifleman is still on the backside towards Kappa. He's trying to jump jet up the mountain.
Kappa.
It looks like
Oh, okay.
900.
Interesting. Yeah,
Do a little Navid Skyrim horse action.
I like
Back
this.
side of Theta.
I like this a lot, and I think it's gonna have great control over Kappa and Sigma when it does this. Okay, so yeah, this is really, really good. I like this a lot, but keep in mind this is not like the last drop. This isn't a full send coming in from MESA. They do have a little bit of reach, so like I don't know how they're gonna get the cap against those ER large summoners. When their plan is clearly to put this rifleman up here and get this Sigma cap, but I don't think they can do it. At least not without their Vipers out skirmishing the summoners and the arrows, and I just don't see them doing that. The arrows should just like absolutely shit on these Vipers on this corner, right? Oh, but Hellfire. I missed the Hellfire. Laser Bomb and Hellfire. Okay, no, they can do it then. They can force this. It's going to be on Evan to force this corner and just bully the arrows and the summoners still. Grill already kind of getting bullied by that. You see him down to 82%. Yep, side torso is getting weak. See if Evan and the Vipers can force the issue on this corner while, you know, not overextending. Obviously, MESA don't know that there's a rifleman sitting on this corner, so they could decide to just send it on the Vipers. We know that would be a mistake, but they might not know.
Well, it looks like they've got a little mountain climbing of their own going on here, so they are probably going to get a scout on some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think that they...
The Red's movement here above Theta.
Yeah, they might try to... Oh, by the way, the Red's arm open, and that's where both of his guns are. He needs to stop peeking this, because if he loses his arm or his weapons get crit, then like he might as well be dead. I mean, obviously he can still cap, but you wouldn't want that. Yeah, straight coming in as well. I think that was... Yeah, I don't think you need to force those trades, honestly. Like, I think the main purpose of being up here is to probably, like, deny movement to the Gamma Cap. I think that was a mistake to force that so much. Oh, I missed on the other side. We did pick that arrow.
Down.
I guess Girl kept forcing the trades against this Hellfire and Vipers, and like I said, they just forced them off. I've been doing a great job, I have to imagine. And, yeah, Girl not respecting it and just giving up that cap. Huge mistake to die there. There's no reason why he should have died there. He easily can pull back. They've taken control of the upper ground. So now they're down the mech for no reason, essentially. But they are going to jump on Moker now. Keep in mind, there's these mechs high up. Winter's just trying to reposition. Maybe getting a bit stuck.
Though, and you know, the thing about this game state is that ME just actually lost one of their most important mechs when it comes to trying to counter these dudes that are all up high. These two Saviors stuck on the ground. They can't really do anything to any of these dudes up top, and they can't really catch the Vipers, because the Vipers can just skirmish and kite backwards and take their legs pretty easily. So
now I do imagine they can get Gamma if they sit behind the cap. I know the Rifleman technically has an angle on this, but I think that an Incubus is small enough, it should be able to hide behind the cap. They shouldn't both be on it, though. Just like one. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. I think one sits on it, and you just block with the cap, and you should be okay. Yeah, and they are getting Gamma, so... Really, it's like, but the Vipers will be in Overwatch. The Vipers need to go over here, get a separate angle, and just tase the cap, right? And if they do that, they're golden. And yep, that's exactly what's happening now, or trying to happen. They didn't actually get the deny. They're shooting hat-trick instead, which means they do flip this cap. That's super important. MESA is not going to get Sigma. I think that much is very clear, so they need to hold Gamma. Like, the Red up here getting shots, crossfiring, being really annoying. His right arm is also open, though. It's like one shot. I'm sorry, that was the Red earlier. I think I might have said it was Dubix earlier, but no, it was the Red getting that open arm earlier. It's good that he's kept it alive. I wished his arm wasn't open, but yeah.
Tetsu taking serious hits out in the open here, down to 58%.
Yep, see that? Imagine if they're going legs, they're both
MESA,
open.
If MESA doesn't try to snap the trap closed on these Vipers over here on the left, I don't see any way of them getting back into this game, to be honest.
Yeah, Tetsu gets legs
for the moment, but
yeah. I mean, they're just trying to defend Gamma Cap. They're trying to stall for time until they only need 2 cap, but that couldn't come fast enough. It's gonna be a while. The Kit Fox here definitely helps. It's HMG, some large laser mixes, but oh no, Acer pushing into the open. They really feel like they need to, but I don't think that they needed to do that because they still had eyes on the cap. Maybe because Hattrick felt like he was brawling. MESA. Yeah, Acer is gonna die here very fast. Unfearing actually gets the Red though. Up high, Unfearing jumped up with the Summoner, and I think Unfearing wasn't looking, he just one-shot him in the back, so that's something. But, yeah, I think they need to pull back. I think Villain, nah, he's too slow. I was going to say, one of them needs to try to go for Sigma instead while they're all looking at Gamma.
Leg.
Okay, Moker got legs, but they flipped Gamma. Dubix flipped Gamma, so at this point...
goes down.
At this point, it's definitely Mantra's win. I liked the creative high ground strats from Mantra. I really
Yeah, that was
liked it.
really well done.
Yeah, it's in the
Maybe
rifle gun out there.
a little impatient while they were setting that up with Red taking a lot of damage, but that mistake pales in comparison to the blackjack getting picked north of Theta, unfortunately for Mesa.
Yeah, huge mistake. I definitely think that even if that blackjack had just stayed there like one shot and just stayed in the low ground and hid, it could have maybe later gotten Sigma whenever all their attention was on Gamma. Like you can make a play like that, and then perhaps they could stall out for a Kaplan. Um, it didn't happen. Um, well played by Mantra though. I think they had a
Unfortunate, yeah.
better
Those high
drop
ground
deck and
strats are just
idea this one.
you can see how difficult it was for Acer Hat Trick and Taitetsu to get into the fight that game. That's pretty brutal. Those high ground strats really shut MESA's Wolfpack down completely.
The summoners were unique. I like the idea, and I mean Hydro got 415 on one of them. I don't know if that was primarily just with the ER large like trading against the red, but
No,
yeah, I
he
liked it
was full in
because
the brawl later in the game, 100%.
those summoners are designed to be able to deny that Sigma cap if Mantra does kind of what they did. Um, but yeah, no, the Hellfire pick really, in my opinion, is like kind of what won Mantra the game because if they didn't have that, they have no way to force them off that corner like and kill that arrow and get Sigma. But yeah, Evan playing that corner really well
That was
and getting that cap early.
really well thought out from them. I didn't care for the arrow picks from Mesa this map. Um, I think that Mantra's strategy, like I said, countered the Wolfpack pretty hard, but I really think it was actually the Blackjack LXPL pick that really made this game such a mismatch.
I think that let me switch the
If
server
those
before I
were if
forget.
those if you just change to a different Blackjack, if you just change to 1X's, I think that Mesa has a much better chance of being able to pull ahead and punish caps and not lose the north side fight.
I completely agree, but one of the things I have to look at that and like think about, if you remember, they also had summoners. So they had summoners with SRMs like ER large arrows and then like sabers with like full DPS bro. I imagine that what happened there was that they thought that they needed that deck to stop a push themselves, because like one of the things you always have to keep in mind is like what if the enemy does what we did? So they probably made that deck to be as like range focused as it could be while still feeling comfortable at stopping aggression, like stopping their own laner Osiris deck. Um, that's what I would imagine at least. I don't think you need that much. I definitely think that that would have stopped the push straight up. It would have easily farmed a push with the position properly. It could pull up, like move up and get angles and stuff. But yeah, I think it was too much. Like you say, I think 1X's would have still done the job. I think that Mantra's deck also just a lot better than the last one. I think the Vipers much better sustained DPS and speed for kiting with the jump jets as well. I think the Hellfire pick, that's fine. It has okay sustained DPS, can go legs similar to like the skull that we saw. And the Rifleman also pretty good sustained DPS, and they clearly had an idea of where to put it up on high. That would have been annoying. Um, Even the Panthers, I think that.
Absolutely, and
Yeah, go ahead.
the Panthers a little bit off the wall, but obviously they did their job.
Yeah, and if they're up high again, like if a push is coming in, if they're already set up like that, it's gonna be really, really annoying to deal with. Because like, do you have mechs that can jump jet to get up there? Do you scout it early enough? You know, do you have to go around the long way? Do you just ignore them? Like it's well, they don't have amazing sustained DPS. So I know they're gigacorked, and again, it poses a lot of questions for your opponent, similar to how they hesitated against the 7S that was shooting them on that corner in the previous game. I think that like if Mesa did full send and they had those Panthers up high and the Vipers like using their speed and kind of kiting while getting shots, they would have been able to clean up push pretty easily on Mantra's side.
Seems we have something of a dispute in the team chat here.
New server should be now. Last drop should have been an A, but it's responsible to the team to say switch the server. Um, that's kind of, I don't know. I asked like if they wanted to redrop, and they said no. I think normally you would have redropped. I'm not a ref, so I'm not gonna say anything. But I mean, I'll swap it to EU. It seems like both teams agreed to me that we were gonna play on NA this time, but I guess not. I don't know. It's a little bit weird to force that, given that we could have redropped. Um, of course, when you redrop, like both teams see the max, so they're like, I don't know. I'm not gonna comment on it. If I was playing
Maybe
and
just
this happened, I would
leave
just
it
let
to
it.
the TL.
I would just play on
Just
the
the TLs and
play on NA personally
Mesa,
because like
Mesa,
whatever, it's a
Mesa's
mistake.
saying that it's fine.
Yeah, Maze's you know I don't know exactly what the rules are, but they're not too worried about it. They're being the bigger team here. I think it's a little bit lame to force that advantage, but it's okay. I also understand it. I guess it's annoying to play on high ping, but yeah, I don't know. Not a huge fan of that. I suppose if a ref is in chat, I mean it's gonna be 5 minutes late, but if a ref is in chat, maybe they could chime in. Should have we redropped the last one? Because I think I'm not sure exactly. I have to go back, but it seemed like both teams agreed that it shouldn't be a redrop. Not sure. He is right though. Like they should have reminded me to swap the server. I guess. I guess it's on the team that like wants it to swap to their server. Because again, I'm not actually an admin here, but I don't know what it is about like teams getting into these disputes. I never had one all my time in EQ. I mean, I never, you know, never clocked anyone or like had any issues like playing on different servers and stuff, or even like time zones and stuff. But it's kind of weird to like in a more casual environment. It's still like yeah comp, but we're not. It's a smaller tournament. It's not like there's real money on the line. It's kind of weird that like so many teams are so what's the word I'm looking for? Like particular about certain things. Like they're
Yeah,
really willing
particular
to
is a good
push the rules. It's like I understand rules are rules, but at the same time, like yeah, I wish teams would be just a little bit more like understanding. That's kind of like a beer league thing, and we're just all here to have fun. Just try to keep
I
things as
understand
fair as you
exactly
can,
what
you know.
you're saying. Well, stuff happens. We move on, and it looks like Mesa's not really going to make a big deal out of it. So
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If this was cast on my channel, I'd
we're
be
good to
going
go.
into it a bit more, but we'll just drop it for now. Anyways, Bog. I think that given that Mesa pushed on Terra Therma, I think Bog is a better map for pushing, but it is a heavier drop. So, do we happen to know what mechs were banned? I don't suppose you have any idea.
I don't have the mech bans, unfortunately.
I can ask in chat. What are the mech bans? I mean, obviously both the teams know what mechs are banned, so they're not giving away any information by informing me of that. Jenner 2C
Enter
and
2C.
Arctic
Oh, an
Wolf.
article. Okay.
Jenner 2C is a really weird one. That has to be something from scrims. Unless then that was admin pick. I'm gonna ask. That has to be admin pick, right? Maybe not. I mean like okay.
Let's tend to leave the mech banning decisions to people who are smarter than me. So
That has to be like the SRM Jenner, probably for Bog. Like I can't think of anywhere else you brought it, but to be honest, I think that EQ brought the Jenner SRM Jenner on Bog in a similar tournament to this one. Specifically because it is one of the best
yeah, maybe.
choices
I think
for a brawl pushing, jump jetting light. Like it
well,
has so much
yeah,
alpha, and it can get a bunch of jump jets to jump up to those high rocks. So that's probably why it got banned. So
well,
with
we
that,
brought it several times, and other teams did too last year on Bog, so it makes sense.
yeah. So with that, that makes a little bit of sense to ban that out. They probably got some inkling that one of the teams liked that and was using it in brawl pushes on this map. Would be my guess. Decide to just ban that out. I think that yeah, I
Article ban is very smart. That mech is still flexible.
yeah, and that actually had mentioned like, oh, imagine if they had an Arctic Wolf on Terra instead of their
And
thing.
and there's a reason that they didn't. So
Yeah,
you know.
there you go. Because they used all three Vipers in the next drop, right? Like they on their team too. I think they used all 3 Vipers because that's the other like obvious substitute 40 tonner instead of the Vulcan. So that actually makes a lot of sense. Like okay, well we need a 40 tonner. They wanted to like max their tonnage or whatever, and they just didn't have any Vipers left to use, and the Archigolf banned. So now it's much more forgivable to bring that Vulcan now in my mind. I probably still would have brought like something lower tonnage, but yeah, it makes a lot more sense, and I'm glad I asked about the bans because yeah, more forgiving now. All right, so what do we got? I'm looking at the MESA side, and I see XEM, ANHI 1P, 4-year PPC XE, nothing else. No backups. ANHI 1P with 3-year large ER PPC, 2 Goss ER large Maul. This just gets owned by a push, by the way, like straight up. AP Goss Mislinks is okay against a push. Blackjack 1X, yeah, they're MESA is all in on not getting pushed. If they get pure ER large summoner, if they get pushed, they're dead straight up.
Stop any hostiles that get in your way.
What do we have on the other side?
We have Gamma.
3 lanners.
Link, Stone Rhino,
Mislinks?
3 lanners, Kodiak 1. Look fairly aggressive. Kodiak 1's usually some sort of mid-vom. Lanners obviously do lanner things. Mislinks can be a very flexible pick. I don't think it's great in the meta right now, but it's definitely pretty good on Bog. Just because of the JJ
Dervish as
mobility
well.
and
Okay, like
the map isn't super big, and then the Dervish, of course, is a very
I mean,
aggressive fix.
Mantra has to push or they lose. Like this is not a full push deck, but they have to treat it like one or they're going to lose the game. Like they cannot outtrade what Mesa has brought. It's not happening ever. They need to identify that they're up against like a ton of trade and just send it. Already the Mislink's getting like a couple of shots at it, by the way. Torsos, so it's not the end of the world, but yeah, a bit soft on the CT. Orange armor. Don't want to see that really early on something like a Mislinks. Armor for that mech is super valuable because it's so good cleaning up at the end. An open Mislinks coming in at the end can just be one shot, right? If it's fresh, it's a whole nother ballgame. Yeah, I mean, I like the spread of mechs from Mesa here, but I'm just, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's gonna come down to Mantra deciding to send it or not. Because like the ANHI, the Maul, they have DPS, you know, a bit of DPS, but they're also pretty fragile.
Does Mantra realize they have this executioner almost completely encircled?
Yeah, they could go for the XE. I think that they just send it on these mechs up high though. It looks like. What's this mech? I don't know why Dubix is hesitating. His teammates are going in. He's not following them. I don't understand. Dubix would. Okay, well, Gwendler and Dered already in, kind of eating shit. Gwendler probably gonna go down pretty soon. They're spreading the damage really well though. Dered, yeah, he's just going from like, yeah, I don't know, like just so disjointed. They decided they need the push, but they didn't do it together. This is, yeah, not what you want to see.
Yeah,
JBV's not even in the game. He's back here. Let's see if they can maybe pull us out though, despite the two people dying. Maybe they could pick on Fearing here if Moker goes right now with Dubix. Yeah, I mean, I think Dubix made the smart play, like what his other laners should have done, but like you gotta go together or else there's no hope, right? Well, anyways, let's see if the Kodiak 1 and the Stormrao can do any work as they push up here. Keep in mind, they do have a big DPS advantage on individual mechs, even though their mech's down, so maybe they can still pull it out. I have to imagine they're going to be going legs. No, they're actually going torsos. That does not bode well for them either. Someone like an XE is going to be able to spread a lot of damage, even with the 4 PPCs if you're going torsos.
Yeah, this Stone Rhino's already getting tacked pretty hard.
Yeah, see that. Well, Villain actually getting kind of owned right there. He's open CT, one-shot CT. It's something. Nier also getting... Maybe they're just outplaying them on this corner. Yeah, they get Villain. Nier might be next. Teitetsu doing a good job trying to hold the corner. They're going... Both the legs on the Mislinks is open, though. I think Nier is probably going to go down here soon. Yeah, Hat-Trick trying to kind of play the flank with Hydro. But just 4 PPCs on that XE, though, it's just not doing a lot. Like, it's very hot and very low DPS, like sustained DPS. Kodiak 1 is open CT, though. Keep in mind, that Summoner is just 4-year large. Like, that's a mech that cannot clutch at the end, really. Unless, like, every mech is, like, one shot. Teitetsu doing a good job shielding his legs, playing in the upper, like, area with his arm mounts here. That's going to be really annoying for Mantra to deal with, but they get Hydra, and they're trying to, like, hug the wall. Ivazowski looks like he's
Matra
gonna go down.
really doesn't have an answer for that mislink's positioning here. It's a very good move by Ty.
Yeah. Moker going in though. He's gonna start cleaning up these mechs. Despite being
Yeah,
at 60%,
finally
it's
gets
all
it cleaned
spread.
up.
Yeah, Dubik's playing the corner with Moker coming around. They're gonna pick this Arctic Cheetah. I guess they're going torsos on it. Oh man, they just end up going legs anyways. I would have liked to see Mantra go legs on most things to begin with, except for maybe that Warhammer that's up high. Let's see, they can maybe okay. They did leg Taitetsu though, so while he's in a good position, he's stuck up there. Right now though, it's 3 cap for MESA. They are getting FC right now. Who's stepping on that? Okay, JBV was stepping on it, but he dies. Taitetsu kills him. Ivazowski's gonna go down next, by the way. Yep. I think Taitetsu clutched it up for his team there by positioning like that.
Huge. Absolutely huge.
Because keep in mind,
Great tactical positioning in that fight.
like Acer's open leg and 4-wheeler large again. Like that just dies. If anything gets into a brawl with it, like it can't do anything. Moker, oh my god, that was an amazing play by Dubix and Moker though. Dubix turned them around and then Moker was able to send it into the rear and Taitetsu was getting shots, but was able to get in pretty much uncontested by Acer again, Unfearing. Trying to get that other leg, gets it. Wait, this isn't over yet, because remember, Taitetsu's legged. I actually think that as long as Dubix doesn't get legged on the fall and he doesn't, this should be Mantra's win. This should actually be Mantra's win. Despite basically giving away 2 mechs for free, they just out skirmish them in that close distance with the DPS lead that they had, like on their mechs, and just better play in general. I think Taitetsu made a great play, but like, yeah, Mantra playing out of their minds. They literally won 5 or 7.
The focus fire in that team fight was really impressive for Mantra. They did a good job of forcing mechs out of the fight. You know, Mesa had a mech advantage technically, but like Nier was basically almost dead due to focus fire, and Villain really just kind of got bullied in that mall.
Yeah, no,
He's the size of the barn door, and Mantra had enough burst damage to just punish him instantly.
I don't like the mech choices coming from Mesa at all, but like also, yeah, you can't pee with a Maul by yourself against like a Stone Rhino and a Kodiak with laser bomb. You're just gonna die, and that's exactly what happened. I think that it's definitely a Mantra win at this point. We'll watch the then here, but
the Maul pick is really something that you take when you need an assault that needs to go fast and you need to be aggressive. In my mind, I just don't see it as a viable trader against, especially not in this meta, because there's just so many mechs that can pop tart you, that can shoot you from a distance, and it's impossible to miss that CT, and it just doesn't have that much armor.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to rewatch this, but honestly, like, Dubix deciding not to suicide in with his laners ended up being the right choice 100%. And it was definitely a huge misplay from the laners to do the pattern they did. I still think that if all 3 laners had grouped up and just pushed the high ground mechs, though, like, if they picked the Maul right away and the ANHI, then they're in Overwatch, right? Their Stone Rhino and Kodiak can see them up here. So they're actually, like, pretty safe up here. I think that was an option for them, but they decided to, like, just run around the low ground and not do that. So Dubik's not going in with them ended up being the right play, but yeah, I think a little bit discoordination.
You'd want to see. It's not a move you'd want to see your landers making unless they have very good scouting and they're going for a pick. That's it's such an exposed position.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at the damages. Like Dered 31 damage, Gwendler 164 following Dered into the suicide. But then look at the rest of them. Like Dubik's 515, 2 kills. JBV 297, 2 kills. Moker 603, 3 kills, and then Ivazowski 725 in that Stone Rhino. Like if you look at the other side, it's like all relatively split, right? It's like all even. They literally played 5 or 7 in 1. Very impressive stuff coming out from Mantra.
Absolutely crazy game. Knockdown, drag out fight.
I think the biggest, like, oh man, I have to go back and look at it again, but the biggest question mark for me, really, not even the Maul. Xe with 4 peeps? Like,
Yeah, that one's a bit of a head scratcher for me too, to be honest. I just if you want to go heavy on trade with the XE, I don't see any reason to go any further than just the 3P
yeah,
XE.
I don't
And
understand it because like
on a
for
map like Viridian where brawl push is actually super viable, I don't see any reason to go past 2, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, I don't understand any reason to go past 3 because if you're bringing 4, you have to fire 2 which means that your pop tart you're going to be
Yeah.
exposed for a lot longer to be able to get that off. And um, oh,
And
sorry,
you
I
also
need to
have
switch to.
basically no backups. So that's
Well, yeah,
tough.
I was just gonna say like it it's just not good because with the 3 peeps you can fire all 3 at once, right? Um,
Yeah.
and so you're
Single up.
yeah, so it's actually more powerful for trading to just fire 3 oftentimes, anyways, and you get all those micros. Those micros would have been invaluable there. They probably would have won the drop. Like why are you giving that up?
100%.
They must have been fully convinced for one that Mantra was not going to do anything aggressive. They must have, for whatever reason, they were fully convinced of that. I guess they were wrong. And then for 2, it's still like if you play it right, the 3 BPC in a lot of ways is better, and then that lets you have the flexibility to move up and clutch at the end. Like even if it is trade versus trade.
G red for Hydro Kyle here.
Oh my bad.
Fiverr Spy.
Yeah, I did switch the server this time. Yeah, so right now Mantra in the lead, 2-1. These drops have been really close though, like all of them. Even the Terra Thermal one that seemed a little bit more
Very, very
lopsided. I
close.
think it could have gone the other way if there was a couple decisions that were different. Yeah, I still can't get over like them winning 5 or 7 there. I mean you have some mechs that are relatively useless, like the Summoner with 4 large. Again, like man, the more I think about it, it's not just the X. Like it really is a lot of their picks are just so greedy for like pure trade.
It
Wow.
felt almost like an Alpine Peak deck.
Yeah, right. Almost right. Yeah, I don't know. Um, Maybe I mean it ended up not being the right choice, right? That's all we could say. Got punished because of it. If it had been a full send, just like no breaks, like catapult push, they would have just gotten rolled. Wouldn't have even been close, right?
Oh, 100%.
So I just can't stress how much I
I mean,
dislike the deck that Mesa brought.
you get three CERM catapults hopping up there. They can almost solo that entire team. Just that lance.
Yeah. It's very gambly from Mesa there. Let's see if they
Especially
play
on a
something
map
similar on the other
that
side.
has that on a map that has that much cover. Where you don't really you don't have, even if you guard the push sight lines that an aggressive team is going to take on Bog, you're not going to have that much time to get legs or anything like that. It seems very risky.
I honestly liked Monster's deck quite a bit though. Like I felt like they had a lot of their bases covered.
It
Like
was very yeah. Despite the fact that they were a little disjointed, especially on the front end there. Yeah, the idea behind their deck was good. They had good mechs, and it's a very flexible deck. That's a deck that can trade. It can sort of move up into mid range, and it should be able to handle another push strat pretty easily. So
yeah, no, if you
I think
scout a
that deck
push,
is very well suited for a lot of scenarios on Bog.
no, yeah, I
It's
really
really
really like the
well
deck.
constructed.
Yeah, I think that they if they scout a push and they set up their like Stone Rhino and stuff up high in Kodiak, they easily can stop it. They have enough DPS. They even have that
Oh yeah.
the sorry, what is it called? The SRM thing they brought. What was that? 55 center. Can't remember the name of it.
The
Help me out
Dervish,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, the Dervish. They even brought that Dervish.
The Dervish, yeah.
I definitely think they could have
Absolutely.
stopped the push, and I really think that if they had executed that better, if they had waited for one of their laners, then they had all gone together and picked those high ground mechs, that it would have been really nice and clean. Just like streaming
Now I've
in
got
one at a
to
time, and yeah.
just speculating, but I've got to imagine that with both teams burning all of their lanners, they're probably not playing Tourmaline tonight, huh?
Yeah, probably not. I don't mean
Probably
like I
not.
think the laner is great on Tourmaline.
Pretty low likelihood.
The thing about Tourmaline though is that you can play 5 trade setups. You can do 5 traders and like 2 incubuses, for example. So
Nice to burn 2 of their incubuses too. Has a lot of Tourmaline light mechs off the off the cards. A lot of the Vipers got used as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame these teams for using a lot of their good mechs early. I don't know. We'll see.
And again, Mesa
hard to say.
really likes the flea, so there's a chance they could be saving something like that for one of those late drops.
Yeah, it could be. Um, yeah, so just chilling, not being a little bit longer in betweens than I was hoping for, but it's okay. Always take all the time that you need, that you have at least, if you're these teams. Always respect going over the drop decks again, going over the map strat again. No reason not to do that if you aren't completely prepared. I kind of hope that MESA just sends it after that drop deck. Like, I think that, like, if you don't win that game, bring in trade. Whatever trade deck you prepared, like, when you get 2 free picks, but essentially, then, like, it's probably not going to work for you. So either, like, mix up the drop deck and bring, like, a very different trade deck, or just send it. What do you think?
Nothing like a good old-fashioned hold W fest to calm the nerves. Hopefully get a W on this map where it's so strong.
Yeah. They have a lot of those mechs as well, we know. Like, no catapults have been used, and we know they're not banned. Yeah, just, like, I don't know. I think that if the enemy gives you 2 free mechs and you still can't pull it out, and it ends up being a close drop that you lose, like, that has to be a sign that you didn't properly, like, prepare the deck, or you're just very outmatched. And in that case, I really just do think it was a deck issue. Like, the deck just had no CC DPS, and like,
I don't think that Mesa is outmatched in this match by any means.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So I think like, you can't really make a control deck on the spot, but you can just be like, hey, let's just send it. Like, what can we throw? We can throw like 3 catapults. Fill in the lights with whatever you have. They had 10 minutes basically because Mantra took 5 minutes. So I really, really hope they just send it here.
All right, both teams locked.
Okay, same going in. What do we got? See, Dubik sent Shadowhawk 2K. Did I not switch the team sides? No, I did. Okay, panicked for a second. Dubik's Shadowhawk 2K with light PPCs and SRMs. Same with the red. 4L with Gauss PPC. Same Stone Rhino. Oh no, different one. Gauss C or large. Stone Rhino 2. Flea 17. Light heavy Phoenix Hawk 7S and Heg Vomit. Nightgear. That's an interesting one.
Man coming in.
And then what about on the other side?
Resource points. Stop any hostiles that get in your way.
I'll just say it then.
Much more skirmishy deck from ME this game.
Sigma, we have
Relatively similar to their last one, honestly. Is this XE running 4 PPCs? Let's take a look.
No, it's not, luckily. You're 5-year large on the ANHI. I like that much better as well.
Yeah, there we go.
5-year large, 6-year medium on the 7.
Peep A, peek out stuff
I mean,
on our Shadow Cats here.
I think their deck is better. Like, it's not the turbo grid
Yeah,
that we
this is
saw.
better.
We have gained Epsilon.
This is definitely better than the last deck for this map.
This is a very fair matchup. Like, honestly, I think this is the first fair match, like, fair drop decks we've seen where it's like, I don't give an advantage to either team. Straight up, I think whichever team plays better is going to win this game. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. These are very evenly matched drop decks. Like they're very similar in composition. Mantra's got a little bit more pinpoint. Emmy's got a little more stain.
I think that I'm really going to be looking at this
See how
ANHI
that
to do
goes.
some heavy lifting on the trades because I think it should absolutely outtrade the D4L and even the Stone Rhino too. I think like the ANHI in that position is just exceptionally strong and really hard to deal with. All right, so we see
Absolutely. But then on the flip side, you know, Mantra's got a little more ability to respond to light movements with that pinpoint.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a little give and take there with that choice.
Yeah, no, I expect the ANHI to have good damage, and I expect the honestly Mokar to have good damage.
This is a much more standard game, sort of skirmishy lights and supported by a fast XE skirmishing for Theta.
Yeah, neither team getting it. So like we were saying, the drop decks are even, and right now the
Mantra
game
bringing
state's very
this-
even.
Mantra bringing this Stone Rhino all the way to the edge of the map, though.
Yeah, I see that. This is an interesting
That
angle
could
to
wind up
force
being a
Theta.
liability if Emmy decides to rotate away if they're not able to get Theta. That
I mean,
Stone Rhino so far away could wind up being a liability.
if I'm at me, I would just leave. I would literally just leave Theta because you're never going to get it with
Yeah.
the Stone Rhino there, and it can never reposition to cover Epsi. Like 100%, you just leave Theta and you push the Epsi side, and instead, actually, like the red Mantra's taking the map. In my opinion, they're being too greedy. Like this should be punished. Mesa absolutely should just pull off of Theta and go kill whatever's on Epsi.
Isn't over this north side movement from Mantra with the Shadowhawks that are slow is a bit of an overextend.
Yeah, they're not that fast. They go
Mesa
like
realizes
100
what's
kph.
going on? They can get on top of you. They can get on top of these Shadowhawks.
Yeah, and I think they're calling it. I just wish they bring all their mechs over rather than like why take this 2 versus 2? I don't. I think you okay. Judas is gonna leave now. Yeah, I think you just like you descend on Epsi. You know what they have. They have that 4L up high. Judas getting slapped by it. His arm is open now. I don't think he even realized what hit him because particularly looking at it, maybe he is. Okay, no, he's good. Yeah, the traders are just doing their thing.
In the 2v2 on the north
Yeah,
side.
why would you push this just to 2 though?
Unfearing, just getting bullied by the SRMs on that Shadowhawk though.
Yeah, and they're spreading their damage a lot as well. And Fearing gets halved. The Mislinks isn't even connected with him right now. The very, very strange decision to go over there with just 2. Like, in my opinion, it was kind of like a free win. Like, Mantra was definitely overextended. You just bring your Wolfpack up there and it's over. Like, you win the game. You kill both those Shadowhawks for free.
I
Instead-
definitely expect to see the Shadowcats and the Shadowcat and the Vulcan rotating north, not the XE in that scenario.
Instead, they're continuing to try to hold Theta when they're basically down a map because this Overwatch is so good from the Stone Rhino. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I think that they've made a huge blunder here.
And Mantra has managed to take Theta as well. So it's
Yeah, now there's like you're never getting it back.
for Mantra at the moment.
So you're gonna be pushed off anyways. You're never getting it back. Now they've pushed up enough where you're gonna bleed, pulling out. It's just bad decision making from Mesa, just straight up. Like Mantra was essentially giving them the game by overextending and being too greedy for the map, and they didn't. They did exactly what Mantra wanted, which is like send into the SRM Shadowhawks of just like the same amount of max that had like laser bomb, like with that laser bomb maxi. Just huge blunder from Mesa, just straight up. Fearing still getting slapped around a little bit. I mean, he's like relatively fresh. He can tank a lot still, despite being halved. But I mean, Mantra has a 3 cap now. Like, what's the plan? They're just kind of sitting here. They're still down here on Theta. Like, what is the plan? You're never going to get this back. Why are you down here, right? Am I crazy? What do you think?
Nope. Yeah, you have to make a play on the other side of the map now. The south side is basically close to you.
I mean, you've scouted that all their weight is looking at, like, this side of the map as well. Like, what is stopping you? I mean, it's funny enough because, like, your weight is also on the right side. Imagine the Digigus pushes up to the middle here. Like, he'd be able to even, like, get free shots on them, kind of trap them down on Theta. Can easily help help trap these Shadowhawks. I don't even think it's too late.
North side is coming now, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean they're finally doing it. I really think Daijika should already be up here. Like you don't need to stay in the corner of the map, especially when you're down on caps. If he doesn't move up now, he's never going to be active.
You have to be pressuring the middle here and getting prepared for what happens next after your boys hopefully pick these Shadowhawks on Epsilon. But
yeah, and the red is trapped, by the way. If they spot him, they're going around so wide.
Being aggressive enough, but
and they're not really going for a pick. It looks like unless I really hope Hydro jumps on the Shadowhawk. Like 100%, you need to get this pick.
Spotted now.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need to like jump on it.
Forward and kill on peering here.
Okay, yeah, the red's just going forward. He's gonna try to
that way.
He's gonna try to trade out. I'm fine with this, given that he was trapped. But yeah, not gonna get anything. So
yeah,
they get that return kill finally. This should have just happened so long ago, and they shouldn't have like gotten that XE halved. But yeah, that's what we were talking about when we were saying the Shadowhawks were overextended.
It's definitely not too late though, because now MESA has the north side EPSI cap. And again, that Stone Rhino is going to take a long time to rotate. Dubix has bled quite a bit.
This Flea is going to rotate for their back cap, though. Keep that in mind. So they are going to try to play Gamma, Theta, Sigma on Mantra. That's going to be their 3 caps. So my question is, can they guard Gamma? Gwendler is actually kind of giving up Gamma. So I don't... Yeah, Mantra is like a kind of cowering in fear right now when I don't really think they should be. I know that they bled more on the percentages, but the caps are getting closer. You have to like hold Gamma. If you're not gonna hold Gamma, then are they gonna play for Kappa? What's the idea here? I'm kind of
Flea is making the movement for the back cap.
Yeah, we talked about that, but that's only 1 cap. Like they're losing Gamma, so
this does leave Mantra 2 mechs, but technically 1.5 mech down since that XE is so messed up.
Yeah, I just think that
if MESA realizes this and acts aggressively in this moment, they can really shift the momentum completely in their favor.
And ANHI goes down. Yeah, it's not a huge deal. He was already halved. Did tank that the red pushing as well. So yeah, they're stepping on Sigma. I think they now though. Yeah, okay. So Mantra has decided. Oh wait, yeah, we need Gamma. Shit, and they're running back there now. In my opinion, the 4L should have stayed up and like helped on Gamma though. They shouldn't have even given that up. Like that was a huge mistake. Because now he's getting crossfired all the way. I mean, it's tickle damage.
And they're giving MESA a favorable fight on Gamma here if MESA decides to take it.
Yeah, I really hope MESA doesn't just bail off this cap. Like they had them. There's only 2 there.
Vulcan to bully these 2 damaged mechs. I expect this Vulcan to bully them.
And this Flea is going to keep both assaults. And this is what I was talking about. Daejigus, in my opinion, should absolutely be all the way up in the center where it's easier to protect him
100%.
and he can control the caps better. Like, being on the corner of the map, they lost their back cap. What is the purpose of being back here? The only thing you're denying is this, like, this area up here where Gwendler maybe could do a push, but, like, you could do that from closer. So, MESA assault's out of position, and I think they're giving Gamma up. No, okay, this is where the game's decided on Gamma. This is where the game's decided. Right now. Patrick going in. Taitetsu's going to hopefully follow him up. Moker and Old Hasu very beat up. Old Hasu looking for back shots. Doesn't get one before Moker goes down. Old Hasu's going to fall.
He's in a rough spot.
Yeah,
rough, buddy.
Yeah,
you hate to see it.
Yeah, he's going to get owned here. Dubix does get Judas on the other side. We'll take a look at that in a second. But okay, they get Gamma. I think that was probably...
Vegas goes down as well, but Mantra's traders are really messed up. I think.
Well, they got... Whoa. When did they get EPSI back? Oh, no, they got EPSI back. Wait a second. Mantra won. Mantra has won this game. Look at the caps. It's too late.
Just squeaking it out.
Yeah, I missed that they flipped EPSI.
I missed the EPSI.
Indecisiveness in, like, too passive from MESA. Like, they had the HP. They should have taken that fight on Gamma immediately, and then they could pull back and get EPSI. They let them flip Gamma before they, like, jumped on them. Huge mistake. I think also that the assaults from MESA not pushing up to the center, also a huge mistake. I was saying that ANHI just, like, needed to move up. Close drop, but yeah.
Move up a lot earlier. They definitely... And the thing is, they won their trades, but they didn't take enough of the map.
Gwendler in the 4L, 864 damage. Maybe the ECM carrying there. Yeah, I think both teams, honestly, like... in a control game and a long game like that, there's always going to be more mistakes. But I feel like that was, like... Both teams kept, like, throwing the game to the other team. You know? But yeah, no, it's like in the end, it's Mantra with more decisive play at the end, playing for those caps, suiciding onto Gamma. But while they're doing that, they're getting another cap. So because Mesa pulls back and lets them get Gamma, even if for just a short time, it gives them time to get the other cap, and then it just ticks down. Yeah, definitely think that very close drop and very evenly matched drop decks. In my opinion, it kind of shows that in the right circumstances, these teams are pretty much evenly matched, right?
And unfearing bans Tourmaline here.
Yeah, so you were right. It's not a huge surprise, but very good insight. Honestly, did not think make that connection of the Lanners banning Tourmaline. Could absolutely be why that happened. And Ruby ban as well. So it's
Mantra
gonna be
bans Rubelite
polar.
Oasis, yep.
Gonna be polar. Which team side do you think they're gonna take? We take team
I was
two
gonna
polar.
say I favor the team 2 side on polar just due to the well then again the spawns have changed, so does team 2 I don't know. Gamma is still obviously the most important cap early game, right? But
Yeah, I
be
don't
interested to
know
see
the new
how
spawns.
how
Yeah,
the spawn shakeup changes the viability of being able to pressure the gamma cap from team 1 side earlier.
I'm gonna be
And
honest.
so it makes it less of a huge objective lead, right? Because it's easier to get into position and start pressuring that gamma side control before the caps start to rack up on you, right?
I think that it's just gonna be full send, man. Like I wouldn't be surprised if both these teams full send. With the new spawns, they're like pretty close to each other, and this is already a decent map for brawling. Like I don't think it's a control map at all anymore. Like part of the reason why control worked so well on this map, or I shouldn't even say so well, but why it was viable on this map is that you had so much time to scout and set up like ideal positions. And even then, personally, I felt like it was only viable in Worlds on Team 2 side, really. Because if you're playing control on Team 1, the received positions are so far away from the caps, they can just capture at you. Um, so I don't know. I expect at least one of these teams is just gonna full send it in. I'd be very surprised if both teams play control. But you could be right about the gamma cap. I'd have to really look at where the new spawns are exactly. If they're like one team still has an advantage towards it or whatever, but yeah.
I was saying, I think you're right. It's easier to break that sort of cap advantage that the team 2 side had on the gamma side of the map, right?
Yeah, that makes
So
complete sense.
is control viable? Good question.
Yeah, variable might not be. I almost feel like you'd have to like run back, like backwards. I don't know. It I don't think it's viable. Just for my limited drops on quick play with the new spawns, like one or two that I've had. I'm gonna say that I don't really think trade is viable on either side. Potentially mid range skirmish though. Like I could see like laser vomit being okay.
And Mokor has requested to switch the server to EU.
Okay, we'll do that. And so Mantra did win the match. They're 3-1 right now. That really close last one.
But points matter in this tournament, so everybody's got to come out and play their best in drop 5 anyway. Four close drops so far. That last game, very interesting. Like you say, evenly matched drop decks. Mesa making the right moves, but just a little late. And of course, also sort of paying the tax with half their executioner for making that that north side movement a little slow and with the wrong mix. So
Yeah, apparently there
will
was
we
an
see
ad
another
break
nail
right
biter
at
in
the
drop
end.
five?
Apparently there was an ad break right at the end of that last drop. I don't know. I I can maybe try to find out how to run ads myself so I can run them in between. I don't actually know. I've never done that. But yeah, that's the timing of the ads does seem to be really bad in this series, unfortunately. Do you have any idea if I can do that when I'm using a code? Like, it's not my stream, obviously, even though I'm like using it with the code. I should have no idea how to run it.
Unfortunately, I'm not experienced enough with Twitch to know the answer to that question. So,
Yeah, I'll have to ask MWO
bigger
comp
concern I
admins.
think would be, talking to MWO comp admins about if this is the way Twitch is doing ad placements. Do we need to make some sort of consideration in the rules for like running ads after both teams have locked or something along those lines? You know?
Yeah, to make sure it doesn't happen
Good
during a
question.
drop. Yeah, it could be. Man, that's yeah. I mean, I think that like generally teams take a long enough time to ready up though. If you run it like after the first team locks or something, it's probably fine. Even if you miss the very beginning of the drop, it can be annoying if you want to see like mechs and stuff, but you won't be missing like the extremely important action, you know.
Are you loading in? I'm crashing here.
I am loading in.
My MWO has just crashed. I'll rejoin as fast as I can, but don't wait up.
Yeah,
Obviously.
Understand. Okay. We're dropping into the map right now. Is a push from I think both teams. Actually Direwolf, so no. Mantra is gonna control, Maze is gonna push. Got Gargoyle, Heavy Larges, and SPL Micro, Maul with Goss. Okay, maybe it's not a push. Two Goss, Hero Large. Two Goss, two Hero Large Maul. It's very anemic. I know somebody else that runs that build. I'm not a fan of it. It's fast, but it's also very fragile and has basically no firepower. I mean, that's like 60-ton mag firepower. Literally, you can run that in Hellfire. But yeah, two Mauls, Chargers with binaries, and like I don't understand this deck because these Mauls are going to be useless if they're full sending. Like they have such low DPS, and they're very fragile. But I guess they're gonna try to like play a cap control game. Like they force Theta and then they just stall them out. Maybe that's viable. I don't know. We'll see. Looping around the left side of these Chargers. We know it's been scouted at this point. Sorry, I should try to click on some of the mechs on the other side. I think these are just normal Xyz, right? Two PPCs. Okay, yeah, so this is like the two PPC Xyz can brawl just fine. Actually favor them in a full-on brawl compared to like these Chargers that have the X pulses because you can't really twist as well. You have to like stare, and so they can just delete your CT. So I favor.
Very true.
I definitely favor the Mantra drop deck just because I think those Mauls are like useless. Well, not useless, but I think they're not super strong. But I do like how they're playing their deck. They're taking the map right away, and they're giving the Mauls the opportunity to maybe just outrange the Mantra mechs. I hope they, for their sake, they don't push outside of their Maul Overwatch. Taitetsu's just running up there, taking some damage. Really should call that he needs to back up, and they should go for caps or something, because this is not going to work. Like, look at how far back Mantra's is pulled to. Evazowski's even going to opt to go jump on this building, I think. Like, they're literally in the corner of the map watching no caps. There is no way that you send it on this. Surely you just go get Gamma, and you sit on a 2-cap at least.
I expect to see this Incubus slip away and start taking caps.
Yeah, they do have a 5D as
Obviously,
well, though. 5D, obviously.
Mantra's backed into a corner, and I definitely favor this Saber in any light 1v1 on the edge of the map. So
yeah, Daedric should be going up to that Pride Rock now.
Edge.
I think he's gonna go there. If he gets up to, if they get the Mauls up to the Pride Rock, then like, I think this game probably is theirs, honestly. If like Mantra doesn't respond to that, but they're not going there for some reason. And this Incubus is going and suiciding. He's gonna get picked, and that's their only cat mech. That is their only cat mech. Is this Incubus, and is basically dead. There's no way it gets out of here. I mean, maybe if like no, it's dead, 100% dead. Yep, there you go. It's legged. Yeah, just very strange decision making. Okay, they have to send it now because you're never gonna win on caps after losing the Incubus against the Spider. A huge mistake from Taitesu there to do that. Like I don't know what he was thinking, but that was never gonna work. And they should have sent their Mauls up to Gamma and just got and tried to get Gamma. But yeah, now they're on mech for nothing. Dejigis actually backing up here, so I guess they're not gonna send. They're sitting on 1 cat versus 2, and they've lost their cat mech while the enemy has a 5v. Okay, no, they are gonna send. I don't know why Dejigis is backing up, but he's not gonna be in this fight, so basically down another mech because he's not in position to do any damage. They're bleeding a lot already. Kind of pushing through the open here. I mean, they kind of have to with how the mechs have been pulled back by Mantra. Looks like they did leg Dubix, but still able to put out a good amount of DPS with the laser bomb and the LMGs. They kind of have to finish him. They're trying to go for his other leg. I think at some point you just have to go CT if he's like shielding like this. He's actually winning trades against Hattrick while shielding. Yeah, CT open almost on Hattrick now after that. And they're backing up. Yeah, I'm just gonna like MESA has not played this drop well. They played it really bad. I didn't like their drop deck anyways, but none of it. They're completely discoordinated. Doesn't seem like the decisive decision making is there at all. I don't know who's drop calling this, but maybe no one. It looks like no one's drop calling it to me. Like everybody's just kind of doing their own thing. Don't know how else to explain this. I mean, this game's over. Like it's pretty much impossible for MESA to win. I actually don't think it's possible. Only way I could see it happening is if Mantra decides to suicide push them, which would be like, yeah, they're not gonna do that because that would be absolutely retarded. So
the only, yeah.
So yeah, the 5e is just gonna get all the caps except for Theta.
The
Maybe
movement
Epsi.
from Macho would have to be pretty bad to allow these Mauls to farm them at this point, given how split Mesa is and how much cover there is on this side of the map.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Hattrick's gonna run back here, and maybe he can force the Spider off and get Kappa. I guess. I mean, like, am I speaking too soon? I don't know. I feel like they're just not gonna be able to get Epsi, right? Like with the Overwatch, it's the one cap they can see is Epsi. Like, so if they can't get Epsi, then even if they
can just
get Kappa,
run away.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're gonna get Kappa and Theta, but like, how do you ever get FC? You don't. So if they had an Incubus, maybe it could hide behind the cap and do something. But yeah, with the Incubus dying, like, what is the hope here?
In that situation, when they take the map in the center like that, you expect the Incubus to split off and start working for directly to Gamma or go to Kappa. You know, as far away.
Okay, wait. They're gonna pick Avazoski maybe, or
Okay,
Stas RN. They're dropping in. The thing is, like, Nier and Acerg are pretty beat up already, but like maybe they can just out DPS them. They're no, okay. Nier goes down.
Nier goes down.
Maybe he can get Ivazowski before he dies on Acerg here. Does, but he is gonna die to Stas. So yeah, that is definitely
Favorable trades for Mantra.
Unfearing, just literally dying trying to get this cap. You feel bad, obviously, but what else can you do? You lost your Incubus. Like you have to try to step on the caps with the bigs. So on Theta, I think that the
most important mech on Mesa's team was that Incubus, and you lose it first, it kind of runs you out of options early in the game.
No, I would say it was the only mech that mattered, given that they weren't gonna full send it. Like, you can't lose your only light mech like that if you're trying to play a brawl control strat, where you're trying to like play a cap strat. Just instantly lose, and that's what happened. So it is what it is. If they kept that Incubus alive, then maybe it could have squeaked out Epsi. It could have maybe held onto Sigma, because you have to remember the Spider 5e. It can't fight on a cap. So
exactly, it would have been the easiest thing in the world for Mantra or for Mesa to just hold the center of the map while the Incubus took their home cap and Kappa.
Yeah, just hold that 3 cap.
Their light movement.
Yeah, right.
I don't hate the idea of going to try to flip Gamma. It was possible, but you needed your traders to get up on Pride Rock.
He went past Gamma though.
That it just didn't happen.
Look where he died.
Way past. I'm not really sure.
Look where he died, man.
Of that movement was
like what? It has to have been they called that they wanted to send anyways, and so he was trying to go for a flank, but they weren't in position to even take advantage of the fact that he was dying. Like I don't know. Yeah. That drop, like maybe they had been a little bit in despair or something. Like I don't know. I feel like that was not like Mesa. They're better than that. They're better than that. I don't know what that was. but that was disappointing to see.
Well, we talked a lot of trash about them all as villain farming, but unfortunately,
For what,
farm
though?
just doesn't do much for you if you don't get map control, right?
Like he's farming, but it's not. Again, I'm not trying to attack any player or take anything away from player. 831 damage is great, but like the reason why he's getting 831 damage is because those mechs are shooting his chargers and his gargoyle
True.
and his incubus. Like while his teammates are getting farmed, yeah, he's getting damage in, but for what? Like what does that damage do? Like it's meaningless damage. So yeah, it's just doesn't matter. Yeah, but disappointing last drop, honestly. But I mean, Mantra played it well. They pulled back, played with their spider well. Picked that incubus. They I'd say play it perfect. It was pretty easy to play it perfect because MESA played it really bad. But still, credit to Mantra where it's due. They played that drop really well.
They really did. 4 really close drops, and it's possible that Mesa was just a little bit tilted after letting those last 2 slip through their fingers. Because it was just on a knife's edge, both of those matches. It really was.
Yeah, can't say for sure, but yeah, that's what it looked like to me because they're definitely better than that. Is what it is though. GG's to both these teams. Appreciate them playing. Entertaining match. I wish the ads didn't block us mid game, but what can you do?
Right in the most important part. Unfortunate.
Yeah. So thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for coming, Shine. Appreciate you casting with me. And
yeah, no sweat.
Yeah. Talk to you later, man.
Thanks to everybody in chat for watching the game. Everybody take it easy, and we'll see you next time.